Hello there, happily married woman. It is Dr. Siobhan Parat here, founder of Relatable, and I wanted to just pop in today to talk with you about hope, to talk with you about this concept that I know so many of you are holding on to when it comes to your marriage. Now, let me get one thing straight. Like, hope is a good thing. It is absolutely a wonderful gift from God to be able to have the emotion of hope where you're really looking forward to better days ahead for things improving, and it's really in many instances what gives us inspiration, right, to put one foot in front of the other. At the same time, as I talk with many of you and you describe to me some of the situations you're facing in your marriage, when you tell me about how you're feeling, the ways that you and your husband are interacting with each other, I offer questions because that's one thing I'm really great at, is asking really thought-provoking questions. And when I ask you the questions, mostly around what you're going to do about it, a lot of times I hear this response of, well, I just hope it'll get better. I'm just hoping that he'll see things my way. I'm just hoping that he'll understand. I'm just hoping that he'll change his behavior. And what I wanted to offer is that, hoping in that way is actually hurting your marriage. And the reason is it becomes a very passive process that, I speak with women on one day and, the end of the conversation is I just hope it'll get better or I'll try that strategy. And then I can talk to them 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, and they're still hoping and nothing has changed. And, for those of you who are really praying that God would move in your situation, I don't want to dissuade you in any way from not doing that because prayer works. Absolutely. Miracles happen every day. But at the same time, as you're sitting there hoping and waiting for things to change, I just want to encourage you to have just a slight mindset shift about it. And what I want you to do is to shift from this sort of passive hope where you're just sitting and watching and waiting for things to be different to a more active and strategic plan. And so I want you to move from hope to strategy, where you're taking all of the dreams and visions you have for your marriage, but you're actually putting a strategy behind them. And so let's think about this, right? When you think about anyone or any situation where greatness was achieved, right? It requires some strategy. It requires some action. Think about sports teams, right? They don't sit in the locker room and talk about, man, I hope that we score more touchdowns, or I hope that we, win this game. They do absolutely hope, but they also map out a plan. They also have strategy. They're also, building themselves and acquiring the skills to actually create the reality that they want, right? Nothing gets accomplished by hope alone. And so I just want you to really think about that and ask yourself this question. Are you sitting by hoping things will change? Or do you actually have a strategy for how you're going to create the change that you want to see? And I really want you to feel empowered. I really want you to understand and recognize the power that you hold in the way that you think, in your attitude, in your perspective, in your reactions, in your actions, and your behavior. There is so much power there for you to actually turn your situation around, that you don't have to be a passive person sitting by waiting for your husband to do something, that you can begin the process of making the changes within yourself, being strategic about how you actually create the change you want to see. So what I want you to do after you've asked yourself the question, am I sitting just hoping things will change, or do I actually have a strategy for change? That's the question I want to leave you with. And if you want to develop a strategy, I'm just going to give you the first two really important steps. And the first step for developing a strategy for change is to identify what you're actually going to do, right? So when you think about the things that will help improve your marriage, what are they? And what are you going to do, right? So is it, I'm going to read that book that I bought months ago. I'm going to look into attending a marriage seminar. I'm going to look into speaking with a professional, a coach, an expert, a counselor. I'm going to talk to, someone who can be a mentor to me in this area of my life. I'm going to, find that course. I'm going to, attend that retreat. But just identify for yourself like what you're going to do, right? Nothing is just going to fall out of the sky and give you the skills that you need to be the wife you need to be able to have the marriage you want to have. And so you have to put forth a little bit of effort. You have to make a step. And I want you to get really clear about what that step is. Like, what are you going to do, right? Hope is for sure the fire that you need to get started, but you have to carry that torch. And so what are you going to do? Identify one specific thing that you're going to do for your strategy for change, okay? Now, the second thing I want you to do is I want you to give yourself a deadline. As I mentioned to you before, I can talk with a woman today, and if she doesn't have an action that she's going to take, and if she doesn't have a deadline by which she's going to implement that action, I will talk to that same woman a year from now, and she will be in the exact same place. No joke, it's happened very recently. And so I don't want that from you, and you don't want that for you, right? We're not in this place to stay stagnant. You're not in this group because you're just content with having a marriage that's falling apart. You're not content. And so let's give yourself a deadline, right? Let's just not sit by and say, well, someday things will get better, right? Because someday never really comes. And to be perfectly honest with you, someday is today, right? So give yourself a deadline. Like, will I continue in this state for another month, another 2 months, another 6 months, right? And you're probably hearing that and you're like, no, like, I don't want to continue in this state for one more day. Like, it's a miserable experience for me. So do something, right? Do something. Take some action, some step to bring yourself more peace. Take some action, some step to give you a skill you need to handle the situation that you are currently in while it's working itself out. Because feeling sad and angry and frustrated and impatient and annoyed and irritated and aggravated and all of those things that you are feeling is unnecessary, right? You don't have to feel that way. And the way out of it is getting a strategy so that you can change how you feel, getting the skills so that you can begin to respond to situations in a completely different way, in a way that brings you peace, hope, more hope, contentment, joy, happiness, right? So that's what I wanted to come on and share with you, right? That hope and sitting passively by and just, hoping things will change is actually hurting your marriage. That in fact, what you need is a strategy. And that strategy begins with identifying one specific action that you are going to take and giving yourself a deadline by which to do it. So with that, I don't know if you saw yesterday, I just threw something out there. It was an idea that came to me that I know will benefit so many of you. And if you've been wondering about what it might be like to work with me, what it might be like to be coached by me and actually get some skills that can help you manage your emotions, change the way you interact with your husband, shift your perspective for the better so that you experience more peace and happiness and love and joy, then I invite you to consider a group coaching program that I am starting. This is a 3-month program that will include 12 sessions where you'll get my personalized coaching on developing the skills you need to create the marriage that you actually want. It also comes with a support group. You'll have lots of other women who are on the same journey, who understand exactly what you're going through because they're going through the same things. And you'll also have an accountability partner, someone to sort of check in with you and help you navigate whatever it is you may be dealing with at the moment. So if this is something that you are interested in, I encourage you to mark a comment in this post, send me a private message, like this post some way to raise your hand to let me know that you are interested in it, because I'm not going to spill all the details here because I know it won't be for everyone. But if it is for you, if you find that you could really use some more support and a boost to the content that I share here so that you can really make those lasting changes in your own life, I encourage you to, again, just make yourself known that you want to hear more about this group coaching program. I'm offering it at an incredibly affordable price because I do not want money to stand in the way of your happiness. That would be ridiculous. And so you can be a part of this program for less than $50 a month. That's less than $13 a week. Just think about what you spend $13 a week on right now. And if your marriage is more valuable than that, if your happiness and your sanity and your peace of mind is more valuable than that, then I encourage you to, again, raise your hand in some way by dropping a comment, sending me a private message, or liking this post to let me know that your eyes and ears are open to doing things differently so that you can have a happier and more loving marriage. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you get your strategy. Hang on to the hope, but put a strategy behind it so that you can achieve what you want in your marriage. All right, I'll be back with you sometime soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.